Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special episode of JKL Media slash Set Lusting Bruce, your podcast all about Bruce Springsteen, his music, and mostly his fans. I am your host, Jesse Jackson. Joining me are my two dear friends, Karen,
Hello.
Lou,
Born to run, baby.
and we get together every week to discuss pop culture. We are currently going through The Expanse, a brilliant science fiction series that was on Amazon Prime. And routinely, we pick other things to discuss. And me being me, I always pick something Bruce Springsteen related. And it is my 67th birthday. And my birthday
Yay.
gift from these two is to talk Springsteen on Broadway, but I don't know if it was a gift to them. So let's get started. Karen, quick thoughts about had you heard about this and had you seen it before?
I'd heard about it. I keep up to date on like things that happen on Broadway and movies and things like that. I'm I wouldn't call myself a drama kid, but I took drama for a lot of the time when I was in junior high and high school. Um, so that's what keeps my toe in, watching the Broadway thing, Hamilton
Hmm.
and Wicked and all that, my great things. So yeah, I had heard of it. Um, it wasn't forefront in my mind. And one of the things that struck me after watching this is how good a storyteller he is.
Yeah.
So I'll just leave it there.
Okay, that sounds good. How about you, Lou? Had you aware of this and had you watched it before?
Uh, no, or yes and no.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I was aware of it, but I've not watched until this, and um, I think I'm surprised he didn't call it Bruce on Broadway. To me, that just rolls off the tongue better, but that's just me.
It's an alliteration at least.
Exactly,
Yes, that's a lot of us were. It could be Bob instead of Sob.
exactly.
Hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that is other people had the same thought that it just seems like it would have been better.
It's such a
Yeah.
no-brainer though. I have to think that they actually considered it, and for some reason this was a better choice for them.
I
Yeah.
think I
So,
think that though he appreciates the fact that people yell out Bruce, I don't really think he's that crazy about hearing it all the time.
Yeah.
could be.
I don't know. Jesse might know better than
Sure.
me,
Yeah,
but
I
I
don't know. That's an interesting thought. I don't know.
because his reaction during the close of the performance when people started yelling Bruce, he kind of just looked
Yeah.
down like, okay, okay, get it out of your system. So then let's
Hmm.
go.
Yeah, the famous Tom Petty story that I know I've said here before, but during No Nukes, someone came to Tom Petty and said, when you're playing, you're going to hear a lot of sounds that people screaming what sounds like boo, but it's Bruce.
Mm.
And Petty said, is there a difference? Either way, they're telling get off the
Wow.
stage. I want to hear the other guy. So yeah. I shared this before, but in case someone has this is your first episode, uh, Barack Obama had asked at the end of his term if Bruce and him had gotten to be, if not friends, at least acquaintances. And he reached out to Bruce and asked if he could do a small show for his staffers, the people that had been with him the full 8 years. And Bruce said, of course, I would. And he kind of talked about what could I do. I didn't want to bring the whole band. And I didn't know if I just but since he had just written his autobiography, he thought maybe I could do a combination of, where I could read some from the book, do a couple of songs, and share. And the what afterwards, President Obama said, that's pretty good. You should bring that on the road. So I always think of that and President Obama telling Lin-Manuel, that Hamilton thing, that's good. You should go
Mm.
forward. So, there. So went through. There was a lot of controversy in this because for the first time, he had never been on Broadway before. There was a lot of what would this be? Would this be like a solo show that he'd done with Devils and Dust or Ghost of Tom Joad? Because he had done other acoustical tours. Um, it was the expenses. Tickets were very expensive. Um, and there was a lot of controversy about that he had forgotten the common man that he sang about. Other people discussed it as it's a Broadway show and it is the cost of what a high tier Broadway show cost. Then there were other people going, yes, but like Hamilton has a staff of, and him, it's him. So I was lucky enough to go to one show. I did see this live. Thank you, Linda Jackson. And I will tell you in person, it is incredibly powerful, especially when he gets off the mic and talks about it. So it
How many people were in that theater, Jesse, or venue? Which one did you see it at?
at the
Walter Kerr?
Walter Kerr, yeah, Walter Kerr, and while uh, I'll
I think
look
it's
up real
400
quick.
seats or something like that, isn't it?
Yeah,
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 so that's pretty intimate.
yeah.
Yeah.
So seats, number of seats.
Yeah, I'm looking at the wiki here. I think it says 400.
Yeah. 534
Oh,
is
okay.
what it says. So,
Wow.
yeah. So I mean that's pretty small.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Spitting distance.
yeah, it
Yeah.
was. And it was really amazing. I know one of the things that struck me is Billy Joel went to an early show and he was joking about actually the thing that made Tom Petty died right before the show started. And the first show, Bruce dedicated it to Tom, but he did not do a Tom Petty song. And that kind of sent to a lot of us, oh, this isn't going to be a regular concert because normally he would have done that. He would have done a Petty song. He did when David Bowie died, he did a Bowie song. He did when Glenn Fry died, he did an Eagles song. So um, let's do just um, overall thoughts, and we'll start with you, Lou, because I know that you shared with me that my feelings may get hurt. They won't be. This is a safe space. Um, it is long and is in I think emotional. But what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I like this better than the previous thing that we saw. What was that called? The one with the black and white thing that he did? Whatever that was, where he talked about his previous band.
Where
Letter
they
to
were
You,
recording.
where
Yeah.
Yeah,
they were
letter.
recording the making
Yeah,
of Letter to You, that
yeah.
album. Yeah.
And I think part of that is due to the fact that Springsteen is obviously at home on the stage. I think that that's when he presents himself the best, and he's done it so often that I think it's just the best platform for him to do anything performance-wise. Um, I was blown away by how much dialogue there was, and that he was seemingly just doing it off the top of his head. I don't know if he had cue cards or a monitor to read off of. I don't think he did because he never was looking in any particular direction to me that I could see. So that blew my mind. Um, I also think the show was a half hour too long. I think there was a point there when he played, was it Born to Run? I think that's kind of when the audience thought the show was going to be over, and then he went for another half hour. I think the last half hour could have been chopped, and the show wouldn't really have changed at all. So
Okay.
overall, I was very impressed with his ability to talk that long with seemingly no cue cards. And I don't know if his dialogue was the same every show or if it
Yes, it
changed.
was.
So that's pretty amazing that he could remember all that. That was like that's mind blowing. And
Mhm.
I yeah, that's my overall impressions of it.
All right, Karen.
Yeah. I mean, there's one man shows, but I was super impressed by his ability. I did really love that it was conversational. There are times that, and whether it's put on or not, it doesn't matter to me, where he starts to say something and then he does like a, okay, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Um, I thought it was very cool, and he does include the audience in his story, I felt. And I mean, you went, so you would know
Yeah.
more than me, but it really does feel like he is speaking with you and
Yes.
telling you his story, at
Yeah.
least.
Yeah, I believe there were monitors because he uses monitors on the show. Like when he tours,
Oh,
there
does he?
is the
Okay.
lyrics are shown there at,
Oh,
so um
he's
in
very good at
fact,
hiding it.
yeah, in fact, oh, Doogie Howser. Why am I drawing a blank on?
Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah, Neil Patrick Harris mocked him when Bruce did the My Hometown, the monologue, and the song on the Tony Awards that night, on the night he got an honorary Tony, that he was using a teleprompter. So, and then of course, I love Neil Patrick Harris, but that, made him my enemy. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
Well, it
Uh,
was not nice.
yeah, okay, well, yeah, I think Neil Patrick Harris may have been, you know,
So
drunk, drinking, watching the Tonys,
yeah, so Jesse, I'm
drunk
sorry
Tony.
to derail you a little bit here,
Yeah.
but you said the show was expensive. How much were the tickets?
Um, $400 to $700.
Okay, because I'm just going off the wiki page here.
Yeah,
The box office was 113 million,
yeah,
and there were 267 uh, shows
yeah,
and 540 seats in the theater. So that was roughly $887 a ticket.
yeah, yeah,
Ouch.
Holy shit.
yeah. It's expensive. I paid a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow. Okay.
yeah. In fact, I'll tell a fun story.
Mm,
I went to Linda. Well, I knew I wasn't going to go because I couldn't afford it.
right.
And the demand was out astronomical. I mean, the demand for it. And I and there was a little bit, gosh, shock, fans being, grumpy, people were complaining that no one should go more than once, that's greedy, that you should give chance for other people to go. And I made
Uh,
Okay.
I love
I'm,
these arguments in a capitalist country. That sounds so communist.
yeah.
Hmm.
And I made the argument that those same people doing that are the ones that try to get in the pit, elbows on stage, more than one show. Well, it's different. No, it's not. I mean, it's different. And if someone can afford to go the more once, good for them. And a very kind person DM'd me and said, "Why aren't you going to the show?" I said, "Well, because I can't get a ticket." He said, "I can get you a ticket." He said, there are enough fans. We can get you a ticket. We're helping people get tickets. How much are you willing to pay? I'm like, I don't know. And so I really have blanked it out. I think it was around $700, maybe between $700 and $800. And so he said, "Yeah, I can get it. Here's the cost. This is when it would be."
Were you in the front row or the back row?
No, no, I was on the, I was, uh, if you're facing the stage, I was on the left,
Uh-huh.
probably 7 or 8 rows back.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it was
Nice.
pretty good. I
Yeah.
wasn't center stage, but
But
everything.
yeah.
Yeah, and so I went to Linda and I said,
Please,
"We've been
please,
married a long
please.
time, and there are certain things that when you're married, when your husband or wife, when your spouse asks you a question, you can't say no. When you say, 'Hey, do you mind if my sister comes over and spends the night with us?' I can't say no. I don't
Hmm.
care how bad of a week I've had. No, you can't say no. If you want to do this, no. I mean, you just have to say yes. I'm about to ask you a question. You can say no, you know. And so I told her what was going on, and she said, "Well, okay, let's talk about it." And her big concern was because what I was going to do is fly into New York, go to the show, then take a Uber or cab back to the airport and just spend the night in the airport and fly out the next morning, right? And Linda said, "No, no, I, I, I would worry the whole time." So we ended up finding we found, through Expedia or somewhere, a round trip airline ticket and a little bitty, it's a pod hotel like in New
Hmm.
Hmm.
York. I mean, it was everything you need in a hotel room, but it was like literally the size of like a cabin, like in a cruise.
Right.
And
It's a bed.
yeah, it
That's
had
all
a
you
bed,
needed,
it
right? A
had a
bed?
shower,
Yeah.
and she blessed me and said, "Yes, you can go." Um, and when I had the chance to go a second time, I said no. I said, "Nope, I'm not going to ask Linda for a second show. I'm happy." So yeah, but yes, Lou, it was expensive. You know, I've never paid that much for anything, else, but it was a great experience.
I'm
Hmm.
assuming your house cost more.
Yes.
A
Yes.
car,
Yeah.
I'm
Maybe.
not
Yeah. No,
sure,
exactly.
Yeah.
but
That,
It's
yeah.
yeah. And that
I,
was, and what year was this? It was like, because it says he toured 2017 to 2018, I guess. So it
yeah.
must
So
be
it would
somewhere in
be
there. Some
2017. Yeah. 2018.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I think like post COVID, I think what I've seen, there's something called blue dot
Yeah.
syndrome, that a lot of acts are canceling their shows because there's just too many empty seats. They can't sell
Yeah.
enough tickets because the ticket prices are too high, and obviously the
Yeah.
economy's really
Right.
bad. So,
Hmm.
uh, and
So go ahead.
if we end up doing Rush, there's an
Yeah.
interesting story about that going on right now as well. So,
Good. Well, I'd love to do that.
yeah.
All right. So one of the things that struck me, and I'd love to hear your thoughts, you mentioned how much more dialogue it was.
Hmm.
It was funnier than I thought it was going to be. Karen, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, again, like if you're talking to someone and they're telling you a story, you want them to intersperse it with, a few laughs here and there. And I did really like that he not only was he serious, uh, and sober at some points, but at other points, he really did give a chuckle. And I appreciate that. Again, great storyteller.
Yeah. Lou?
Yeah, I appreciated those moments of self-deprecating humor. I think he knows, like Karen says, because he's a storyteller, he knows the arc of a story and how to tell it. And I think he did a really good job of not being too serious all the time. Though the through line for the show is, and we talked about this with his movie, is you can tell that he's the boss. Like
Yes.
he does things the way he wants them done, and
Yeah.
that still came through, even though he was much more personable and relaxed in this
Yeah.
venue.
Yeah. I love the joke where he says, "I currently live 10 minutes from my hometown." You know,
Hmm.
Yeah, that was
it just
great. I
deadpan, like,
couldn't wait to get away.
yeah, yeah,
And then he says, and I currently live
Yeah, because I
there.
was kind of
yeah.
confused because he kept on talking about living in LA. So I was like, um, when did he move
Yeah.
back recently,
No,
or does he have two? I assume he has more than one
well,
house. But
his parents moved to California, and then he and Patty, after they got married, lived in Los Angeles for a while. And once the kids got a little bit older, he moved back to New Jersey because he wanted them to be close to all the relatives.
hmm.
Because
The extended family,
yeah,
yeah.
his mom had two sisters, so there's cousins and everything. They wanted that. So he has this big farm in Coast Neck, New Jersey
Hmm.
that remember when we watched the uh, Western Stars, where it was in the barn, where
Right.
he played. Yeah, that's his barn.
Oh,
So
okay,
he
that's
has
right.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so that's it.
Cool.
Um, Is there any, I think the show starts out very much talking about him, and then kind of it talks a little bit more about the band and his career, and then kind of the state of the current situation. This was in 1718, as you talked about. He brought it back post-COVID, and did another short run where he changed the ending. That I was jealous about. I was like, please don't change the show. Please don't change this, please show. And he took out a couple of songs and put in two other songs and changed a little bit. So they did not film the newer version.
So
Uh,
this is the first incarnation that
yeah.
we watched. Okay.
Mhm. Um, Thoughts on his he talks a lot about his dad and he talks a lot about his mom. Lou, any thoughts on either one of those stories and songs?
Um, Not really. I think by and large, it seems like a lot of artists have trouble with their parents.
Yeah,
So it's the rare one that says, "Oh, my parents were behind me the whole way," blah
yeah,
blah blah. So and he talked about that I think a little bit in the 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 previous one that we
yeah.
watched as well. So I didn't really learn anything new about it.
Okay.
But I did like the story that he told where his father sort of apologized to him about not being a good dad, and you know, talking about parents passing the sins or errors of their ways to their children, whether
Yeah,
they do intentionally or not, and that's that's a pretty hard thing to control, consciously control, because it's in your DNA, and we've all seen it in our I'm seeing it in our family is
yeah,
past mistakes are repeated by the children, and that is just human nature. Like, I
yeah.
just we all struggle with it. We all want things to be better for our kids, but that's something that seems to be out of our control.
Yeah, the line when he does long time coming is if I had one wish for you in this godforsaken world, kid, it'd be that your mistakes will be your own, that your sins will be your own.
Yeah.
Um, Karen,
Yeah, I also want to mention not only those things you said, but he also talks a lot about his influences, and his parents are a big part of that. I loved how joyful he was when he talked about his mom. I also had
Nancy.
a very close relationship with my mother.
hmm
Um, when I became an adult, she and I would do things together. And I mean, we did things together before then, but
yeah,
even after then, like we would go to conventions together and stuff before I met my husband. She was just the best mother ever. But I also realized watching this, I must have had like one of the best childhoods ever because like there's a lot of this that I'm like, okay, we grew up really different.
hmm
Um, I feel like I don't have those big beefs. I mean, my dad and I butted heads quite a bit, but I didn't have to go to the bar and get him when I was,
yeah,
5 years old or whatever. It was just, him wanting me to vacuum. So, um, I I love that I get to see insight into another life in
hmm
detail. And also it kind of made me feel good about how I grew up. I mean, I don't want to put that on it, but that's part of me listening to someone else's story is, and so that's a nice side effect for me, I guess. But
yeah,
I also adored how he talked about his mother.
yeah. The first time I was having Linda watch this, she and this is you could not write this. Um, he was talking about his dad, and Linda, it was like, I've got to go to bed. This is too depressing. And like 2 minutes later, Bruce says, I'm going to get you off suicide watch now. Right.
Hmm.
So I was like,
Yeah.
if you just stuck around. The Wish is the song he wrote about his mom. and about getting the guitar. And if you ever watch this again, there is a moment where he talks about that she's in Alzheimer's.
Mm-hmm.
And when I saw him live, he did not tell that story.
Mm.
Mm,
So he did change this, but he did not specifically may say that. But when he says the lyrics, "You'll know me in a glance," he'll say, "You'll know me," and he pauses, knowing that she won't know him now.
yeah.
Was very touching, I thought. And The Wish, I think, is one of my favorite songs by his. The idea of how much, how much joy that guitar has brought them and how much joy she gave. Um, and I tried to call my mom after hearing it, and tried to explain to her how much she meant to me. And what song? Jesse Wayne? What? And I ended up giving up. Uh,
Mm,
but loving that. Um, the other thing that really struck me is the story of going to the draft board
Yep.
mm-hmm.
I was
and
really surprised that he said that.
Yeah.
Like he was
and
basically admitting to being a draft dodger.
yeah, and
I don't think that's something that was uncommon back then.
No.
he was rated because he had a motorcycle accident and he did not pass the physical. And also, I don't remember if it's in the filmed version, but the version when I was there, so I guess he did change a little bit. He said when his dad used to always go, "Wait till you get in the army. The army's going to get you. Wait till you get to the army." And when he came back and said, "I'm not going to be drafted," his father said, That's good. That's good." But I thought, and I am not a fan of the blues version of Born in the USA. I do not like that. I like the rock anthem. And when I knew the set list before I went, and I was like, well, I don't know why he did that version. And then, of course, I said, shut the F up, Jesse, because you should trust Bruce's instincts. When he says, "I wonder who went in my place," and goes in that version, I
Mm-hmm.
think that's a gut punch. Any thoughts,
Yeah.
Karen?
Yeah, that was part of it that was really sobering. I was surprised I hadn't heard that about him, that he was drafted. And I think it really does okay, so I'm younger than you guys, but I did live through the very tail end of the Vietnam War.
Yeah,
Uh, so I do remember it a little bit from when I was very young. And I also remember when we left.
yeah,
So I still have that feeling of why were we there? You
mhm,
know, we had no business butting our nose into that. And so whenever I hear of someone that, you know, they they didn't go there specifically and wanted to defraud the government, but if they could legitimately get out of the draft, they would.
yeah,
So I appreciated that from him. And I'm one of those people that was like, good,
yeah,
good. And also when I'm feeling like that, and then he says, I wonder who went there in my place. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's not good.
yeah,
So, it's a very sobering tale. It's good that I learned more.
mhm,
And, you know, it's just one of those, signs of the times, as it were.
yeah,
Uh, I'm sure you guys know more about it than I do, but
mhm.
I
Not
was
really.
very young.
I was a kid in
Oh, you
Canada.
weren't American. That's right.
It was a non
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
My dad went to Vietnam, and I certainly, born in 59, I certainly remember some as a kid, and dad going over there. Um, the one of the we've talked a couple of times in other things that, and you've mentioned it today, Lou, that Bruce is very much he says that I'm a benevolent dictator as leading the band. So hearing 10th Avenue Freeze Out and him talking about Clarence was one of the first times I cried watching this in live. Thoughts on hearing the piano version of that song and him talking about the band?
Um, yeah, I was hoping he would talk more about the other members of the band. I still think he hasn't
Yeah,
really talked about anybody else except I was glad that he talked about Clarence, and Clarence was obviously a big part of the profile of the band. Like if even casual fans, I think, knew who Clarence Clemens was,
yeah,
because the saxophone features so prominently in a lot of Bruce's earlier stuff. Um, I appreciated that. And I thought that the version that he did of, you know, this is a dumb question, and I should have looked this up. What does 10th Avenue Freeze Out mean? Like,
no one knows,
okay, because I
including
was,
Bruce.
oh, okay, because that's good, because I thought maybe it's like is it a musician term for some sort of a getting blocked at a concert or something, or being
Mm,
not allowed admittance into a club, or was he just walking into the middle of a gang crime or something? Like
yeah,
I could never really figure out what's going on with that. Um, but I did appreciate this version of the song, and by and large, I liked most of the versions of the songs in here. Though I'm with you, Jesse. I don't like that version of Born in the USA. I just think it loses the power
yeah.
of that song. It just doesn't resonate with me the same way that the official version it does.
Yeah, and I think in context of how telling the story, it works for this theater, right? But yeah,
It was my
uh,
least favorite song of the set.
yeah, hmm yeah. Karen?
Yeah, I agree with the Born to Run. I feel like it dragged a little bit, that it's
The
not that.
No, Born in
Oh,
the
you mean
USA.
the
Oh, Born
Born
in
in
the
the
USA.
USA?
Sorry.
Yeah,
Born to Run was
Um,
cool. I like that.
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Born in the USA. It needs a driving feel to it.
yeah,
And I
Was
feel like
that
it seemed
dun,
kind of
dun,
sad. Yeah,
dun?
yeah,
yeah,
exactly. And I love drums,
yeah,
so
Oh, good.
that
Oh,
that
good.
needs drums.
All
Oh
yeah,
right.
yeah, dude, when we talk about Rush,
Oh, you know about
yeah,
Rush.
of
Okay.
yeah,
course, Neil
yeah,
Okay.
Peart, come
Yeah.
on.
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Cool. You even know the name.
hmm
Wow.
yeah,
Yeah. Um, YYZ, is that
hmm
what that
Yep.
one is called?
Z.
Anyway, um, yeah, I don't know. That part, because of the song, I was like, can
yeah.
I need to get through this because that part is dragging for me. So I'm
Any
glad we're all on the same page there.
yeah, any stories that didn't work for you, Karen?
I liked his stories. I don't have any argument about his stories, and they're all his. So it would
Yeah,
be hard for me to argue with any of that. It's his truth.
yeah,
So I I I just love learning about people on the whole, and no learning, through you. We have heard a lot about Bruce. We've learned a lot about him. And there's stuff here, like a treasure trove of stuff that I've learned now that I had no idea about.
yeah.
So, I mean, from my perspective, I think that was incredibly cool, that
Yeah.
the stories he told. And he picked the right ones as far as I'm concerned.
Lou?
Oh, and Clarence learning about, oh,
Yeah,
that was so sad.
yeah,
Um, I, I I think the only thing that sometimes I felt like, because he was telling chapters of his life, that there wasn't conclusions to something. Like he was talking
right.
about, Ron Kovic and the born on the 4th of July and going to the
Yeah,
vet center, and then it just kind of then he moved to the next topic, and I was kind of waiting for a little bit of some sort of a wrap up or a bow on that, and there was nothing. But then I thought, well, that's kind of like life. So like you don't get those clean endings, and he only has so much show to work with as
Right.
well. So I still thought it was too long, but it's the stories were good, but like I said, sometimes it just felt like they just kind of were left
Yeah.
hanging there, and I was waiting for
Mhm.
some sort of, and at the end he didn't. I was waiting for him sort of to tie up everything together, and then he just sort of moved from his life story and just sort of reached out to the audience and gave them
Yeah.
sort of like a communal ending as opposed to a personal ending. So that was a bit disappointing for me. And the other thing I wish that he had included was the streets of Philadelphia. Like I think
Yeah.
Yeah.
that would have, he just didn't talk about that at all either, or include that song. I just
That's
think
it.
that
Yeah.
that would have been a perfect song for this venue.
Yeah.
Hmm.
He kind of wraps up the story, and the autobiography ends with him going back and not seeing the tree. And
Yeah.
so, and then it was, I did not have the Lord's Prayer, on my bingo card to end this. Um, and it is, yeah, I get that. Um, One of the things also, once again, to show that I'm an idiot, uh, when I saw Dancing in the Dark was going to be in the set list, I went, well, that's a weird, I guess it's technically his biggest hit. It was number two on Billboard, but that seems weird you would include that. But when he talks about the state of the country, and then how you've got to be like my mom, put on your dancing shoes. And then when he does Dancing in the Dark into Land of Hope and Dreams, which is my favorite Bruce song, I will tell you, when I need a lift, that two song combo, this version is on my F Cancer playlist. It is on my watching them to that moving on. It always brings me joy and refreshes my heart. Lou.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I like the tie in with his mother, and
Yeah.
her love of dancing, because that helped me recontextualize that song. Because for me, dancing in the dark obviously means,
Yeah.
chicka bow wow.
Yeah.
So that was I really appreciated that. I appreciate that new layer, because to me that song was pretty basic in its message,
Yeah.
and now it's got this cool extra meaning. So I really like that. The Land and Hope of, what was it called? Dreams?
Land of Hope and Dreams.
Yeah, that song was okay. It didn't really do much for me though.
That breaks my heart. No, I'm kidding. That
It's
is
okay.
my favorite Bruce song. I love
Yeah,
that
I'd have to
song.
hear the studio version. Maybe I would like that version better. I don't know.
Okay.
But
I'll
which
I'll
album is
send you
that
a
on?
link.
Which
It
oh,
is it is on Wrecking Ball, and it was on the live when they reunion came out. They came out with it. Yeah.
okay.
I'll send you it. Karen, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned these. I loved the rendition of Dancing in the Dark that he does, that he changes it up, but not enough that it
Yeah.
is unrecognizable. That was the song growing up that I know him from,
Sure.
because that is his biggest
That's the
hit. And
tourist
also,
song.
yeah, and also Courtney Cox getting
Yes.
up on stage. I remember that big deal. It was, I'm Gen X, so the MTV generation, that's another nickname for us, the forgotten generation as well. So, MTV, that was a huge deal. And so that being in heavy rotation at that point, it's such a big part of my
Yeah,
growing up.
and Money for Nothing.
Money
Yeah.
for nothing.
Yes.
Yeah. That was a weird video, but yeah, they
Yeah,
played it a lot.
yeah.
Bonnie Tyler,
I'm
so many
on
things.
Yeah.
MTV.
Yes.
Yeah. Um, so yeah,
I need a hero.
it was
Yep.
a it was a great, that's when the songs came on during this, I was, looking at other stuff. But then when he was talking, I was concentrating on watching
Yeah.
him talk.
Yeah.
Um, because, they're songs, they're music. It's
Sure.
not something you're used to watching someone sing.
Yeah.
But for Dancing in the Dark, I watched it because
Yeah.
that's my jam right there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love that part. It was just fantastic. Uh,
So I'll stick with you, Karen, and we'll wrap this up shortly. Patty shows up, does a couple of songs.
okay,
Thoughts on that?
I have thoughts. He
Good.
talks
Did she show
about,
up at your show performance, Tracy?
Yes, yes, she
Okay.
did. Yeah, she that was a regular part of the show. In fact, but when she was sick, they would do he would do other songs in
Hmm.
replacement of her when she was ill.
Poor girl sitting around all that time just to do a couple
Yeah.
songs.
okay,
Is that one of your thoughts, Karen?
we're close to my point here. He talks about how he loves her singing and that he saw her and thought she was a
But he
great
never
singer.
lets her sing by herself.
Right. And
I
then she
kept on
comes
waiting for
out
that. Yeah.
and does his backup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all she does. I would have loved to hear her sing a solo song with him playing or something. That would
Yeah.
have been so great. It's one of those things, like Lou says, that it's a lot of Bruce and not a lot given to the people that back him. Uh, and uh, this got on my nerves a little bit. I was like,
Okay.
come on.
Same here.
I want to
And
hear
there
her
that one
sing.
song they were singing was they could have traded lines easily because
Yeah.
I'll be the man that you want, you be the woman that or
Yeah.
whatever it was,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
They could have made it into a full-fledged duet,
yeah.
but she did backup. She came out and she was, okay, I hate to see this, but kind of a prop. Um, that's one of the beefs I have with the show.
Fair
Uh,
enough.
and I don't have much to complain
Okay.
about. It was a great
Okay.
watch. But that I was like, why
Okay.
is she not singing? I put my hands out like, why is she not singing?
It
Uh,
is not
so yeah.
Springsteen's on Broadway. It is
Still,
Springsteen. No, I'm
come
kidding.
on.
I that is one of my thoughts is I've seen Bruce in the band 19 times. I've seen him solo just a couple, but yeah, he has Little Steven, Niels Lofgren, he no one gets in it. He sings lead on every song. That's the
Yeah.
gig. Yeah.
And I mean, that's fine when he's in concert because it is
Yeah.
him touring. But
Yeah.
in this case, he actually mentioned that that's what drew him to her,
Yeah.
this song that she sang,
Yeah.
right? I mean, he singles her out as being this great singer, and then she comes out and does backup
Yeah.
for him.
You could
I
let her
was a
sing that
little
song.
disappointed.
You should let
Yeah.
her
Yeah,
sing that song.
Yeah.
right.
Any thoughts,
Maybe
Lou?
maybe he can't play. Well, I think Karen's covered it all. I was just
Yeah.
kept on waiting for her to have her own moment. And
Yeah.
in a 2.5 hour show with just Bruce singing and talking,
Yeah.
changing it up a little bit wouldn't have hurt it either.
Fair
But
enough.
yeah, I just felt kind of sorry for her. She had to sit around for like an hour and a half before she came on, and then she was on for
Yeah.
10 minutes and she had to go back off, sit down again.
She does get
So,
he brings her back on stage for the
yeah,
applause. Yeah.
I was also, and I guess it's kind of awkward, but he never talked about his previous marriage either. So that
Yeah.
was kind of,
In the autobiography, he is very open about it and
yeah,
He
in
was
talking
not
about how
happy in that marriage, so
no,
and he blames it all on himself.
yep,
This is totally his screw up. Well,
yeah.
that is great. All right.
How,
Any
how do you
final
feel
thought?
about our opinion about that?
Um, yeah, to me, I think it was a duet because she sang along with him on things. This is normally when these are a couple of songs they routinely, if she's touring with them, she is ill, and so she can't tour anymore. There is also a long theory that ended up making people feel like crap is that Patty only shows up when the when it's on TV or it's going to be filmed, and then when the regular concert she's not there. But because he'll often say Patty's home watching the kids, keeping the home fires burning. He
Well,
made a
I mean,
joke
that's
once.
valid.
Yeah, that is very valid. He said, if not, my clothes end up on eBay. Uh, so,
Okay. He's saying
yeah,
that his kids are precocious. Is that what he's
yeah,
saying?
yes. As they say, he's Barney for adults. That's what they call him. No, I love when they do a duet, and I agree. I think it would be great. I own a couple of Patty's solo CDs, and in I get it. Um, I thought it was nice she was joined. I enjoyed those two songs, but I absolutely think you guys have valid points that you could. Um, there are songs where they do more of a duet, but yeah, it's he is as Lou said,
He's the
he's the
He's
boss.
boss.
Bruce.
He's
Yeah.
the boss. Yes. Um, it was. Any other final thoughts before we wrap it up, Lou?
I think my favorite funny moment was when he talked about that he had never worked a 9 to 5 job, and he was doing this show, and that was like the first time that he was experiencing a 9 to 5 job, and he hated it. I thought that
Yes.
was funny.
Yeah. I
I
thought
can't
there,
blame him.
I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Hmm.
That was
Yes,
the funniest moment in the show for me.
I think so too. Karen?
Yeah, I one of my funny parts is I think it's when he sings growing up. I'm not sure, but
Yeah.
he says afterwards he takes a beat and he goes, "There's a joke there."
Yeah.
And he's talking about, getting older. And
Yeah.
that's something that I identify with very much, looking down
Yeah.
the barrel of 60. Uh, uh, I feel the same way sometimes. I don't want to talk about it. There's a joke
Yeah.
there, but
Yeah.
let's not
Yeah.
voice it.
I love that. Green beans, school, church,
Green
green
jacket,
beans.
Hmm.
green tie, green socks.
Yeah.
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 Oh,
And
my correction, the Walter Kerr Theatre has 960 seats.
okay.
So
Good. Okay.
that would lower the price down to $800. Though I see scalping was up in the 1800s or something.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Uh,
Big.
if you Google, there were no celebrities I saw the night I was there, but it was a very hot ticket.
Hmm.
Uh, you know, everyone from Oprah to President Obama. Um, the oh,
So this theater's in New York City, right? Is it on
yes,
Broadway?
yeah, I don't know New York well enough, but yes, it
There's
is.
only like four theaters on actual Broadway
Oh,
on the
Yeah,
okay.
street.
yeah, but
So Broadway is it's more like an area and it's in
yeah,
that area. So,
yeah.
Okay.
Hmm. And it was, um, yeah, and uh, a lot of people talked about how much this seeing them other celebrities that talked about it really inspired them to see him sharing so much of himself and doing this the way as it said he won a Tony for special performances, so he now is an Emmy away from having an EGOT. um and
wow, an Emmy. He can
that's
get that.
That's the only thing he's missing because he has a
Yeah.
Grammy. He has multiple Grammys. He has an Oscar. He now has a Tony. I am surprised he did not take this to like London's West End and do a residence there. It seems like him and
Yeah.
Patty could have enjoyed, let's live 6 months in London and do this.
Yeah.
Um, it is multiple people believe that since he's done this, he has not changed his set list as much as he used to. When he toured, he was someone who would always do a lot of different songs. In the past couple of tours, he's been more consistent, doing the same songs every night in the same order. Some people really hate that. Other people don't care. But there is thoughts that maybe seeing him do this every night, he likes that repetition. And also he is in his 70s, so
Yeah.
would make things a little bit easier.
Consistency is
Yeah, and
key,
maybe
Yeah.
right?
some songs he just can't do at the level of
Sure.
that he
Yeah.
feels comfortable with.
Right.
That less energy.
Yeah.
Just as a side note, there's only three theaters on the Broadway
Okay.
street.
Wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a
They
whole
say the
area
neon lights are bright on Broadway.
on
So,
Broadway.
I won't unless you want to. You don't have to rate it or give it a number, but I would like to say if you are a Springsteen fan, would you recommend this to someone to watch? Lou.
Sure.
Yep, but give
Yeah.
yourself a couple of nights to do
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. And there is a pretty good, I mean, it is enough that you can stop
Did
at
you get
a,
an intermission when
Sure.
you were there?
no, there is no intermission.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
It's a
really
long time.
impressive for like
Yeah.
how old was he? Was he in his late 60s when he was doing this?
Well,
Or?
let's see. Yeah, because he was born in 49, so yeah.
Mm,
Mm.
Yeah. So, yeah, and they asked everyone to be quiet. There was no recording. You weren't allowed to record anything. He
No
asked us not to
pictures.
sing along. No,
Yeah.
at the end, he was able, you
Right.
could take pictures when him and Patty were applauding. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, another thing that annoyed me was when he stepped away from the mic because then the
Yeah.
audio level went way
mm,
down. And I was
hard to
going,
Yeah.
hear. Yeah.
get back. Yeah.
Um,
Well, that's one of those things we have closed captioning on, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
And it, I agree. Live there, it made it very powerful
Mm,
when you were
Sure.
seeing it live, but I understand how it does not translate as
yeah.
much, but being there was this intimacy of him
Mhm.
sometimes just talking off mic,
Sure. Yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Mhm.
Um, Speaking of intimates, see,
Yeah.
I did like the way that Bruce and Patty shared the same mic and had to lean in close
Mm.
to each other to
Yeah.
sing. That
Yeah,
made
that
that
was
seem very
great.
intimate. That was really well done.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Very
like that
nice.
too.
Good. All right. Thank you for the indulgement. I'm glad you guys did it. Looks like pretty soon we're gonna have a rush night, which that sounds fun.
You'll be sorry.
No, I don't think
No,
so.
I'm
I
happy
love
about that.
music.
I don't think Rush
Eh,
is Jesse's kind of music.
That's all right. I and I put
But
the
you'll enjoy the
yeah,
documentary because there's a lot of great people on it. Jack Black is hilarious.
I
Oh,
love
I love
music
Jack Black.
documentaries, and
Yeah.
so yeah, that absolutely.
And you'll get a
Jack
Uh
Black
Canadian
is
perspective
fantastic.
on
yeah,
the music business.
yeah. All right. If someone wants to reach you, Karen, and give us feedback, how can they?
Well, they can reach the JKL show by emailing us at jklmediareviews@gmail.com. I am at Oliveria on social media, and my blog is alliesstuff.com.
Lou?
You can find me on this channel, of course, JKL Media Reviews, where we do our normal podcast is right now is The Expanse. We're waiting for Pluribus and Severance to come back. And occasionally we do one-offs like Bruce, though he's becoming more of a semi one-off, I guess you could say. On my own channel, Lou's Reviews, you can find our archived episodes of Babylon 5, the entire series, plus the animated movie, as well as my writer interviews that I do, and my Stephen King podcasts. And on YouTube or on Twitter and Lou Sky, you can find me at Lou W. Sytsma, Sytsma.
So thank you both. In September, when it's Set Lusting Bruce's anniversary, we'll do Road Diary. So,
Okay.
so kind
Coolio.
of telling you for that. That's the next Springsteen assignment. You two are just a joy. I'm so glad you're in my
You're
lives.
still talking to us, eh?
Of course.
Good.
Listeners, please come check us out on JKL Media. Check out Allie's blog. Listen to Lou's discussion if you're a Stephen King fan. And there are a ton of Stephen King and Bruce Springsteen connections. And they are both, I have a lot of fans who have joined me that are talk about both of them being big influences in their writing. And don't forget that Bruce got shunned once when the person asked for Steven's autograph and
Mm,
not Bruce's.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
there
love
you
that
go.
story.
So do I.
Yeah. All right, everyone, be safe, be kind. We will talk to you soon. Thank you, and we're out.
Bye-bye. Keep
Bye.
on dancing in the dark, everyone.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And scene.
The proceeding has been a JKL Media production.